A system is determined by the number of observers that are maintaining or controlling the system. Okay, I really want you to just think about that statement for a second. Have you ever felt like the bureaucratic systems you work in, or even the social structures around you, are somehow quietly rigged against you? Well, welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we are decoding a really fascinating, intense, and deeply philosophical source text that dives right into the heart of how unseen forces can manipulate the reality around us. So let's just dive right into this. We're looking at system manipulation, the rules of the game. Now, our source material for this is this frantic, incredibly complex monologue. But don't worry, we're going to distill it all down into a clear, strategic survival guide for you. We're going to figure out exactly how to navigate environments where, frankly, you don't hold the cards. To do that, here's our roadmap. We'll follow a 5-step framework. The reality of manipulation, real versus virtual systems, the mechanics of persecution, the importance of facts, and finally, controlling your own destiny. This is the cognitive map you're going to need. All right, Section 1, the reality of manipulation. The entire foundation of our source's argument is that you are playing a rigged game. And guess what? A rigged game absolutely cannot be won if you aren't the one writing the rules. Our source actually grounds this with this really chilling anecdote. There was a Foreign Service officer who handled a specific number of cases, what the source refers to as N number of cases. Now, when this officer tried to go out and actually prove that the system was being manipulated, he made a pretty shocking discovery. The underlying data, which the source calls these CY numbers, had been secretly altered right behind his back. The controllers had literally just changed the suggestions. He failed entirely, and he lost everything, simply because he lacked control of the system itself. Which leads us to a pretty brutal truth. You can never prove it, because that is a system which you cannot control. The source warns us that past systems act kind of like a manipulated quantum mechanical event. Because a system is determined by the observers controlling it, those observers will just alter the information to whatever is most rewarding for them. Once you move out of that system, you have zero proof. Whatever you lost can never be brought forward. It's just gone. So if we literally can't win in their system, where can we win? Let's move to Section 2, real versus virtual systems. The crucial point here is understanding the environments where we are totally powerless versus the ones where we actually have ultimate agency. The source defines virtual systems as your past or your future. Because you aren't physically anchored there right now, unseen observers can manipulate those timelines entirely. But contrast that with the real system. The real system is the present moment. The source specifically uses the examples of composing music or uploading videos to YouTube. Why? Because you are physically present in that system. You control the output. The observers cannot manipulate your immediate present reality the way they can so easily manipulate your virtual past. But what happens when observers actively target you in the present? That brings us to Section 3, the mechanics of persecution. The text outlines this very specific, honestly kind of scary sequence of events. First, permanent controllers within a system do this sort of handshake with new individuals who want to persecute you. Second, working together, they manipulate or remanipulate the system's information. Third, they present a targeted stimulus directly to you, making you the center of attraction. And fourth, they just wait for you to react. If you react without proof, you lose. It is a calculated behavioral technique designed specifically to force you into making an error. And the text explicitly defines the nature of the people running this playbook as unrighteousness. Now, the source points out that unrighteousness isn't just about keeping quiet. No, it is the deliberate act of harming somebody while fully knowing that the targeted person is honest. I think this really highlights the sheer malicious intent behind these manipulated games. It isn't about money. As the source says, it's about control and persecution, which means you need an airtight defense. Let's look at Section 4, the importance of facts. This brings us to perhaps the most striking metaphor from the entire source text. Quote, "This universe is my mobile phone. If I destroy the facts, I destroy evolution." The text emphasizes that logical deductions, the exact kind of logic a judge or a lawyer would rely on in court, are completely totally dependent on hard facts. If the controllers alter those CY numbers we talked about, the logical deductions change entirely. Without facts, evolution and truth itself are just completely destroyed. So how in the world do you defend against that? Well, the text provides a really clear defensive playbook. Demand concrete facts and evidence. Maintain strict accountability of all your data. And this is huge. Be incredibly careful about what you speak out loud. The source explicitly warns that if you pinch the manipulators and try to expose their secrets without absolute evidence, it immediately stops being a simple game and escalates into a life-threatening situation. You basically make them your enemies, but you have no proof to shield yourself. So, finally, Section 5, controlling your own destiny. If you can't beat them without facts, how do you survive the game? The answer lies in avoiding their ultimate trap. Reacting to a stimulus destroys your life and your time. Remember step 3 of the persecution mechanics from earlier? They present a stimulus. The source is absolutely adamant that taking action based on their artificial suggestions is exactly how they win. By reacting, you are literally handing over your destiny to them, slowly but surely. And this elegantly illustrates how that destiny is forged over time through what the text describes as a book. Think about it like this. Each day is a blank page. At the end of the day, your daily conclusions form chapters, and over 2 or 3 years, a full book is written. If you spend every single page reacting to their manipulation, they are the ones writing your book. Your daily restraint and your quiet endurance are what dictate the long-term story being written. Which leaves us with the source's final, totally unambiguous directives for surviving system manipulation. Be careful. Be quiet. Be smart. Do not respond. Seriously, do not take any actions based on their suggestions. Take your decisions carefully, stay grounded in the reality of the present, and refuse to give the observers the reaction they so desperately want from you. So, if your life is a book composed of daily pages and chapters, and systems are governed by observers just eager to manipulate your responses, I want to leave you with this question. Who is writing the chapters of your book? Are you controlling your present, or are you just reacting to their virtual systems? It's a really haunting concept from a deeply compelling text. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. Protect your facts, and hey, stay smart out there.